August 5th, 2024 at 7:45 a.m. we would get an announcement on a collaboration. So everyone immediately thought of Fortnite because who else wouldn't?
Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god!
He has been asking for years that Springtrap would come to Dead by Daylight. Summer of next year though. I can't wait that long. So it's been basically 11 months ever since I uploaded this video. And since then, we officially got the FNAF Dead by Daylight chapter around 2 weeks ago, which honestly is a double-edged sword against the amount of time this chapter took to come out, and also my terrible upload and work schedule. Whatever. Welcome back to Lumilius channel, where today we are not talking about Hello Neighbor, sorry, but instead revisiting my second video essay to discuss the brand new Dead by Daylight chapter, that being Five Nights at Freddy's. But unlike a lot of other FNAF fans, I had no prior experiences to this game, so I went into this completely blind. So after 24 hours of gameplay, I'm gonna try to answer the three biggest things. Did this chapter live up to expectations? Is the map and killer good? And most importantly, has Dead by Daylight managed to turn me into a fan? So even before the collaboration announcement, I still knew about Dead by Daylight's existence, but that was the extent of my knowledge. The only other asymmetrical horror game I played beforehand was, I don't know, Secret Neighbor. So when the collaboration was announced, I thought it was cool, and I kinda just left it at that. My mindset at the time was trying it out once the game went on sale. And for a while, I almost forgot about this collab. And then Mega M became one of my Discord mutuals, and he hooked me on Dead by Daylight, no pun intended. So if you don't know what the hell a Mega M is, well, he's also a YouTuber who does stuff like gameplay videos, news, and thoughts about different games and series. And when we first met, Hello Neighbor was our shared interest, along with Hasmonotes, but it also turns out he's a big fan of Dead by Daylight. He plays the game. So when the chapter came out, I bought it, woke up at 5 in the morning to play with him because of time zones, and had to face insane lag and ping because my internet was severely acting up. But I still want to thank Mega M for helping me get started, as it probably would have been absolutely dog shit if I played this game blind. I'll link his channel in the description. So I'm gonna just discuss my thoughts on the game in general, the FNAF chapter, and the Nintendo Switch port, because yeah. So Dead by Daylight, oh my god. Hold up, did you forget I make an intro without shamelessly plugging my Patreon? These perks and stuff, you get them. Okay, get it if you want. Link in description, like and subscribe. Please don't click off the video. Alright, where do I start? I guess my initial thoughts on the gameplay, I guess, I don't know. Like I said, Mega M helped start me off, and thank God. Getting used to looping, gen progression with other people, along with the 3 different variations, like not chasing people for too long, and the blood web, along with its offerings and perks. But he also gave me morals when playing. For a horror game, specifically when and if to start tunneling, slugging, and just not being an annoying killer. However, other new players probably didn't get help when starting, and I hated them to the fullest extent. I mostly let survivors off the hook, no pun intended, because I mean, they were trying their best. They wanted to play for the love of the game, which I respected, no matter how useless they were, especially when picking up the gens. But the real people that pissed me off were the killers, especially the basic Springtrap mains. And I hated them. The epitome of toxic gameplay, blissfully unaware that what they're doing is fucking lame. I'm talking about tunneling for years on end, even if they have major leads. No perks, no abilities, I'm assuming. Complete fucking shit. Oh yeah, hitting survivors on hook. What the fuck? And especially camping, which sometimes turns around to being satisfying when you're able to unhook. However, even when the killer is camping, the prompt just sometimes doesn't appear. It's especially when the gates are open, which is really dumb, as if you get hooked one time, then the killer could just stay there, not allowing anyone to save you or your teammates. Shut the fuck up. And I especially hated it when I loaded into a match and saw these godforsaken doors. God damn, I really hate these new players. Even though I was a new player myself, like I was a Hispanic Republican, this game literally made me adopt internalized racism. Now, the balancing in this game is so weird that it's kind of impressive. As a survivor, you either have some mildly difficult games, which are honestly pretty fun, but aren't that common in the grand scheme of things, And some of the most common games had me facing against people who should not be in the same skill-based matchmaking lobbies. Hell, some games led to no generators being completed and the killer having a field day, and then playing as the killers themselves. Either you're the one having the field day, for the most unethical time in your life. However, in some lobbies, it's either 1v4 against you and 4 f***ing Wally West, who somehow develop some psychological stuff in my brain where they become my new hyperfixation on chasing them, then breaking my ankles with every loop and pallet they drop, making me yearn for them even more on knowing that I shouldn't be chasing a player for 5 minutes, and then when I do finally get them or they just run away, it's too f***ing bad because the other survivors grouped up and did all the generators and now they're escaping. God. Okay, look, I know I'm being pretty negative and a bit stubborn, but I still like this game to an extent. For starters, this game requires a good amount of patience, where you're punished for heavily risking your life to complete a generator, along with generators taking a good amount of time. You have to be very aware of your surroundings, pretty much 24/7. Running or even chasing can be a lot of fun as you try to break each other's ankles. The maps are also fun enough, with a couple exceptions, but still. Overall, the gameplay loop is either really hectic or just calm as you do your generators in peace. And even when I die, I have to go back. It's not me, it's my fingers making me hop on an endless loop. I like the addition of perks and items, which are really cool to use for making good survivor and killer builds. And the blood map is way cooler than something like the Secret Neighbor's skill tree or something. But probably the most popular thing about this game are the crossovers, which I absolutely love. I just think it's so much fun doing a gen with Leon, running hand in hand with Nicolas Cage, and being saved by Lara Croft. That's cool, but the part a lot of us are here for are the killers. Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, the Demogorgon, Vecna, not that one, there's the one from Dungeons and Dragons, which is also pretty cool. Chucky, the one guy from Resident Evil that Mega M yearns for. Pinhead, up until like 2 weeks ago. Even the original characters like the Unknown are just cool designs. I genuinely think they're all cool. Except the Knight, I fucking hate him. So in total, the game can be pretty frustrating, but I can't get enough of it. I can't stop playing. Someone help me at this point, I'm not playing the game is playing me. Alright, now we can move on to the FNAF chapter itself, specifically the map, then killer. So let's start off with the... Oh shit, who the hell is that? Mega M!
Yes, hello, this is me indeed, Mega M, your favorite host, the host that stole Emilia's show. Anyway, I got around 2000 hours on Dead by Daylight, but I'd consider myself a very quick learner, so I'll give you a throughout guide and my opinions on Springtrap that just got released in Dead by Daylight.
So yeah, periodically, Mega M will also discuss these topics, mainly focusing on gameplay and general aspects of this chapter and killer. The map, it's alright, it's just kind of overrated a bit. One of the things that makes this map stand out is that it isn't based on a certain pizzeria location. Instead, it's primarily just a mashup between the game and movie, which I can understand. I mean, the movie map probably wouldn't fit, especially with the abundance of hallways, and the original FNAF 1 map is just too small, has a horrible layout for this game, and basically everything that's not seen on the cameras would have had to be made up. But for the map we did get, it's slightly underwhelming. For starters, it's not a completely indoors map, as a good amount of it is just the Greenville realm.
It is an outdoor map with a big main building inside, like every map has a main building, or most of them really. The outdoors is very basic, it's just some cars here and there, some basic loops, a shack, which is a good structure. The map is not that big, it's quite in between big and small.
I just think it's slightly too small. Like, there isn't a security room in the building itself, as that was given to Springtrap as one of his perks. Also, the models are just a little off, especially Chica, who's just a circle. This also applies to Springtrap, as he's missing some wear and tear, along with having no secondary color, mainly on his chest. Now, I don't know if I'm just being really nitpicky, but there's just some small issues with this map that are just adding up. But it's not that bad. I mean, basically the whole pizzeria is well detailed, especially with the abundance of Easter eggs. Everything from the endo, the cupcake, the moving eyes, the ball pit, the showtime, it all adds up too. Like, okay, it's not bad. It's just a little underwhelming. Sorry, I don't know.
The main building, the most interesting part. It's not hard to navigate through, and the loops there are like 2 very good loops and the rest is quite dog. It is a very well abusable map by balanced landing users. I think it's a pretty fun main building, mainly for killers because I think it's more survivor-sided, this map. Yeah, there's not much to say really about the map. There are a lot of Easter eggs, fun Easter eggs, but they don't change the gameplay in any way.
Now, in terms of being a Dead by Daylight map to play on, I mean, I guess it's fine. There's a good amount of palettes and windows and stuff. Like, it's no Haddonfield or Nightmare Elm Street to play on. And for killers, it's not as bad as the kindergarten school, so it's fine. However, the thing that hooked me, and probably many other players, is the killer for this chapter, the animatronic, where after being trapped in a safe room for 20 years, he's finally freed and lured into the fog with the promise of more victims. Which is honestly a weird point in the timeline to bring him in, since at this point, he's not fully used to being in the Springtrap suit. It would make more sense to like bring him in during the FNAF 3 fire so that he's fully used to the spring lock suit, along with having an explanation for his axe. It looks pretty cool though. Now, although some features of him were kinda messed up during translation from Scott's designs to the DVD's art style, which I mentioned like 20 seconds ago, the rest of him is still really great. Mainly the fact that he's much more realistic in design and detail, especially the suit proportions and an actually realistic corpse. Now, it's hard to compare other killers in the game, since he's honestly been the only killer I've played thus far, but I can't lie and say he's not that fun.
Springtrap would be a pretty middle character, maybe a top B tier. It really depends on situations. The reaction time of the survivors, they have quite a lot of time to react, I'd say. But that's also from my own experience, and I'm not the best survivor. I'm a good killer.
I kinda like his axe, as it takes a lot of skill to use, making it all the more better when trick-shotting someone, even if sometimes it just doesn't work when trying to loop, and especially if you can't throw for shit like me.
Let's compare Springtrap to Huntress. She throws hatchets. They go more straight, they drop, or they go lower the longer they go. How the f is that in English? Like bows, I don't know. But with Springtrap, it's very different. It doesn't go into distance, it goes high up, and it depends on its weight. I'd say that this killer is not that map dependent, but if he's in an indoor map like Larry's Memorial Institute, it could really hurt him. The sky, you know, the space helps you to throw it over walls and other objects, so you need a lot of space, which interior maps don't have that much.
Probably the most unique mechanic to him, though, are the security doors, which make for really good mobility. I would often use them to go to the other side of the map to quickly stop any gen progression, along with trying to get the survivors. And speaking of survivors, I rarely use the security doors when playing as them, mainly because there's always a risk of getting spring trapped. But looking at the cameras is also pretty cool. Yeah.
Springtrap also has 8 security doors. Now, that is a very confusing mechanic that a lot of survivors and general players are confused about and don't know fully yet. They don't fully understand it. When survivors go into the door and teleport to, Springtrap can catch them and instantly pick them up. But that's where the confusion begins. Survivors are scared of getting caught immediately, which is understandable. But you get caught only when you traverse to the same door as Springtrap, or where Springtrap is, or where he's heading. You just must get lucky, but the chances are low. So all of this makes Springtrap quite mid.
Now, I'm still a little conflicted if the security doors and security office should have been in the map itself, as it really just comes down to having a cooler killer or a cooler map. Now, I could yap about all the special moves he does and the perks and all his mechanics, but I just don't feel like it, so I'm like, this is your thing now. Good.
He has very good add-ons, I'd say, like both fun and very unique. His best add-on I'd consider to be Bonnie's guitar strings. It removes her undetectable status effect completely, which is quite bad, but it's not horrible. But what it does is that when you are inside a security door, you see a repair progress of every single generator. When its hue goes pinkish, it goes more pink till it's red. When it's red, then it's nearly done. He also has one beginner add-on called Help Wanted Add. It just shows you the preview of the starting trajectory of the axe when you wind it up. Like, for skilled players, it's useless, and for beginners, it's also quite useless because the axe basically gets thrown where you really want it. Also, one of his best add-ons is probably one of his common add-ons called Restaurant Menu, and it decreases the minimum time required to retrieve an axe embedded in the environment by 20%, which is not bad at all. It's pretty good. Now, we won't go through every single add-on, but I'm just saying they are unique, fun, and also pretty good. Now to the perks. Springtrap comes with 3 perks: Haywire, Help Wanted, and Phantom Fear. So his perks are not that good. Only one of them is quite good, and it's not even like A tier. It's pretty B tier, it's mid.
His jump scare is pretty funny. Like him just yelling at someone is somehow goofy but not out of line, which also ties into his personality. Many people were expecting him to be this dark character, an evil psychopath, dead set on ruining and taking other lives for either his needs or personal pleasure. Stealth like Michael Myers mixed with the evil of Judge Holden, a being that can only be represented in hype aura moments.
Scream louder, please. I can taste your fear. You belong here. Your time is up. What a pity.
Yeah, honestly, after his depiction in both the books, FNAF 6, and the movie, we should have already expected that he would be a theater kid, which I kinda respect since this is how Scott envisioned him. And I think making him this washed evil murderer is a pretty unique choice. The skins look really good too, even though some of them are like 20 bucks each. The 2 Broke Boy fits are from the Shutdown AR game, that being a special delivery. And honestly, they looked okay then, and look really cool now, but we all know that expensive is always better, as determined by the 2 legendary skins. The main one that everyone's talking about is the Yellow Rabbit, who I almost got because he just looks so goofy. Like for the jump scare, he just screams at people and has a one-sided beef with Nicolas Cage. Like he doesn't even have the Bonnie head, he's just goofy as hell. Now like I said, I almost got him, but decided to waste my 20 bucks on a different skin, Glitch Trap. Or Bill, why do people call him Bill? I think he's easily the best and creepiest skin. I mean, for starters, he has an actually effective jump scare, along with having some pretty cool voice lines. I just really like Glitch Trap as a character in general, and so for basically all my gameplay, he would become my main skin. And finally, the Fatality, or Mori, or whatever you call it. Look, it's cool and all, and I especially like the callback to Shorty Fast Share, but I'm honestly more interested in the fact that it's actually gory. For some reason, a lot of FNAF fans really want to have a lot of violence in the games, which honestly I only think is the case because they want their franchise to seem more cool and mature. But FNAF has never been violent, and when it has, it's really only been grim at most, but still tolerable. Hell, even Scott Cawthon said this. Now, I will say that getting something this bloody is still nice, but this shouldn't be what the franchise should turn into, because it was never that at any point. Like, people genuinely saying that the movie should have been rated R, or should have been more like the VHS tapes, don't understand the franchise, and they only want violence because, like I said, it makes the franchise they like seem more cool and mature, along with using it as an excuse to make it scarier, when that is not the case at all. If you need violence to make your product scarier, then it sucks, man.
Anyway, yeah, took 33 minutes. Probably most of it will be cut out. And yeah, it's awesome. Go subscribe to me, yeah, and subscribe to Amelia's if you want to see some quality FNAF and maybe DBD content. And Hello Neighbor, of course. Man, when is the Secret Neighbor X Dead by
yeah, I like this chapter. It hooked me on Dead by Daylight, no pun intended. But you know, I've been playing this game on my computer. But what if I want to play it on the go? Perhaps I might need to switch to a different console. Oh shit! So after a couple days of playing, I like the game a lot, even if I started to get really frustrated later on when I actually started getting paired with actually good people. But this was also around the time that I started revisiting my Switch, since I know damn well that I'm not affording the Switch too. And it turns out Dead by Daylight's on the Switch. Totally not a red flag, but I don't care because it was half off. So I bought it and then booted it up. However, since I mainly play single player games on consoles, imagine my dismay when the Nintendo Online prompt appeared. So I had to spend another $4 to pay online. Yes, I know I got the worst option, but keep in mind I'm broke. So I finally make it to the home screen and oh yeah, I'm on a different account. How am I gonna play a Springtrap? So I had to set up a behavior account, enable crossplay, and eventually waste 20 minutes of my unemployed life just to get my account working on the Switch. So, was it worth it? Hey guys, I just have a small hunch that this version kinda Well, it kind of sucks. Alright, so let me just get this out. I'm used to bad Switch ports of third-party games, as a lot of them only turn down the graphics to absurd levels and keep the frame rate below 30, all for the sake of pushing out their game to kids. Now, there's still a couple exceptions, like Help 1 and 2, and that's it. But even with the bad ones, they're still somewhat playable, as I really only get the Switch versions to play them portably. But Dead by Daylight was never meant to be on this console. Alright, where do I begin? The positives, okay. The controls are fine. I mean, it's cool that the sensitivity was basically perfect, which I can't say for other Switch ports. Like, a lot of them automatically set it to like the lowest option possible. So, thanks behavior. And also, you could play this game on the go. That's it though. Yeah, that's it. This game runs terribly on this poor console. Like, they thought if they could rather than if they should. The graphics are terrible. A lot of the indicators are pixelated to oblivion, and all the environments are really low quality. Not to mention the performance. Constantly under 30 frames. Choppy as hell. Literally the worst circumstances, because this is a competitive game that requires precise movement and Now, it could be just me completely sucking at the game, but I can still tell that this game performs horribly. Now, like I said before, I usually get these ports just to play them on handheld, but it still sucks on handheld. Now, besides the weird pause of my recording that I had to give up on because my hands began to cramp, it's still bad. The game is still choppy, even if it looks slightly better on the small screen. And also, my Switch started getting really hot. That sucks. I absolutely regret spending $14 on this game, even though it was on sale. Stay curious about this port, because it is definitely not worth it. So after playing this game for a few days now, I kind of like it. Look, I know I'm still a beginner, and the game will probably start to get on my nerves once I get better. I'm still happy that Dead by Daylight was the crossover instead of something like FNAF. I think the gameplay loop is intense, the crossovers are fun, and thank god there's skill-based matchmaking, because I'm not trying to play against people that are actually good at this game. And even though the map is not that good, I still really like Springtrap's inclusion into the Horror Hall of Fame. So yeah, thanks Mega M for helping me with this video, along with putting me on DVD, and thanks to whoever is subscribed or still watching this video, even though this isn't about the creepy AI driven Mr. Peterson. So now that this short video is done, I can finally move on to my next Hello Neighbor video. I can't wait. Oh fuck.